there was a lot of funny stuff that happened during the making of the show.
All right, tell some funny stuff.
Okay, there's a funny thing that happened once. I remember we were...
That's not the way to tell a funny thing.
What the sons of 20 Hollywood fathers look like. Ever wondered what the sons of some of Tinseltown's most iconic fathers look like? Well, you're in for a treat because today, we're diving into the lives of 20 Hollywood sons who've inherited both talent and charisma from their famous dads. So, grab your popcorn and get ready to be mesmerized by these incredible stories. Number 20, Michael Douglas and Kirk Douglas. First up, we have Michael Douglas, son of the iconic Kirk Douglas. Michael followed in his father's footsteps and had a successful acting career of his own. Both Kirk and Michael Douglas had distinguished acting careers and were considered part of A-list Hollywood. Back when Kirk was 30, he had just landed his first role in the film The Strange Love of Martha Ivers, while Michael, at the same age, was busy starring on the show The Streets of San Francisco. Michael Douglas followed in his father's footsteps to have a successful acting career. His dad, Kirk Douglas, was best known for making movies in Hollywood's golden age and became famous for roles in films such as Spartacus and Paths of Glory. When his son Michael decided to become an actor, this opened up a lot of doors for him, but Michael admitted that people would always say that he looked and sounded like his dad. It was tough to step out of his father's shadow and carve a path out for himself. He explained, "You're sort of feeling like, well, who am I? So I think it takes you longer to get your own identity. And it took me longer to sort of step out of the shadow of my dad. I didn't really feel it until the year of Fatal Attraction and Wall Street together. The commercial success of Fatal Attraction and winning the Oscar for Wall Street sort of finally got me free of that shadow, and I think that was a big moment." He noted that this took around 2 decades to happen. Michael won the Academy Award for Best Actor for his role in Wall Street, and during his acceptance speech, he thanked his dad for helping him step out of his shadow. He also learned a lot from being the son of a famous movie star and realized the advantages and disadvantages early in his own career. Michael said, "I think the advantage is that you were able to see your father as a movie star. His friends, Burt Lancaster, Gregory, Peck, others, Tony Curtis, all of them coming, Frank Sinatra, and you see them with their own foibles. You see them as regular people who had issues, just like everybody else. And it took a lot of that pizzazz out of the thing, and I think helped you conduct your own life in a more practiced, easier way. You weren't affected by all the stuff like a lot of people who never came in before, so that was a big advantage."
This stroke has, I think, been a blessing for my father.
Really?
Yes, I do. I think so. I think it's been a blessing. Because you know what? You're a different man.
Number 19, Scott Eastwood and Clint Eastwood. If you've ever swooned over those rugged Clint Eastwood-esque looks on the big screen, you're not alone. Meet Scott Eastwood, the spitting image of his father and a rising star in his own right. Then there's Scott Eastwood, who shares an uncanny resemblance to his father, Clint Eastwood. If Scott Eastwood's smoldering stare looks familiar, that's because it is. The son of Clint Eastwood, one of Hollywood's most enduring cultural icons, Scott is the spitting image of a young Clint and has followed his father onto the big screen too. After a bumpy start where he admits he almost gave up acting to become a firefighter, the 37-year-old finally got his first lead role in 2015 rom-com The Longest Ride, and has since gone on to star in numerous blockbusters, from Suicide Squad and Fast and Furious 8 to Pacific Rim Uprising. He also appeared in 2 films with his famous dad, Invictus and Gran Torino. Following in Clint Eastwood's footsteps are large boots to fill, which is why, after a few early appearances in his father's films, Scott Eastwood decided not to use his famous last name, instead adopting his mother's name for a number of years. He has since embraced his roots and gone on to appear in a string of blockbusters, including Suicide Squad in 2016, The Fate of the Furious 2017, Pacific Rim Uprising 2018, and The Outpost 2019. Although he wanted to be an actor, Scott Eastwood has talked about how he wanted to make it in the industry simply because of who his father was, and so didn't use the Eastwood name until 2008, when he'd already got a few projects under his belt. Scott, nevertheless, describes his father as one of his biggest heroes, telling the Chicks in the Office podcast, He's the reason I'm here, because I was so inspired by him and so inspired by his films. He also told Esquire that he's learned that the smart move is to follow his dad into directing. That's where the power lies, he told the magazine. And like my dad says, it's feast or famine for an actor. If you're not creating your own material, then you're just fighting for whatever's out there.
Your father, of course, Clint Eastwood, and I just wanted to mention it's got to be strange because I would think, okay, this is your dad.
Who again?
Clint. His name's Clint Eastwood.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I heard
that
him.
guy.
Yeah.
And what's interesting to me is that I learned that you have to audition for his movies, which seems weird to me because you'd think he'd know what you can do, what you can't do.
Yeah, no. No.
Number 18, Ben Stiller and Jerry Stiller. What happens when you're born into comedy royalty? Just ask Ben Stiller, son of the iconic Jerry Stiller. It's no wonder Ben Stiller is one of comedy's biggest names. Comedic genius runs in his blood, as his father was Jerry Stiller, who enjoyed a successful career spanning almost 70 years. Both actors were well known in Hollywood by their mid-40s. Benjamin Edward Mira Stiller was born on November 30th, 1965 in New York City, New York, to legendary comedians Jerry Stiller and Ann Mira. His father was of Austrian Jewish and Polish Jewish descent, and his mother was of Irish Catholic descent. She converted to Judaism. Stiller made his big screen debut in Steven Spielberg's Empire of the Sun in 1987. Demonstrating early on the multifaceted tone his career would take, he soon stepped behind the camera to direct Back to Brooklyn for MTV. The network was impressed and gave Stiller his own show, The Ben Stiller Show, in 1992. He recruited fellow offbeat comedians Janine Garofalo and Andy Dick and created a bitingly satirical show. MTV ended up passing on it, but it was picked up by Fox. Unfortunately, the show was a ratings miss. Stiller was soon out of work, although he did have the satisfaction of picking up an Emmy for the show after its cancellation. For a while, Stiller had to settle for guest appearance work. While doing this, he saved up his cash and, in the end, was able to scrape enough together to make Reality Bites in 1994. Now a cult classic, which is looked upon favorably by the generation it depicted. Ben continued working steadily for a time, particularly in independent productions where he was more at ease. However, he never quite managed to catch a big break. His first big-budget directing job was Jim Carrey's The Cable Guy in 1996. Although many critics were impressed, Jim Carrey's fans were not. In 1998, There's Something About Mary had propelled Stiller into the mainstream spotlight.
There was a lot of funny stuff that happened during the making of the.
All right, tell some funny stuff. Don't
Okay,
just-
there's a funny thing that happened once. I remember we were.
That's not the way to tell a funny thing. You want to tell a funny thing? You tell a funny thing. Tell a joke.
Number 17, Kiefer Sutherland and Donald Sutherland. Imagine growing up with a Hollywood legend as your father. That's the reality for Kiefer Sutherland, son of the incomparable Donald Sutherland. Donald Sutherland, who shot to fame in movies like MASH and Dirty Dozen, hit his stride in the film industry when he won acclaim for his roles in 19 and Ordinary People. His son Kiefer rose to fame for the 80s film The Lost Boys and was later on the TV show 24. Donald Sutherland, who rose to fame in movies like MASH and Dirty Dozen, hit his stride in the film industry when he won acclaim for his roles in 1900 and Ordinary People. His son Kiefer rose to fame in the 80s film The Lost Boys and was later best known for his role as Jack Bauer in the television series 24 and as President Tom Kirkman in the television series Designated Survivor. He's been nominated for 2 Academy Awards and has won a Golden Globe Award and a BAFTA Award. Kiefer Sutherland has said that his father is his hero and that he has always looked up to him. He has also said that his father has been a great role model and has taught him a lot about acting in life. Donald Sutherland has said that he is very proud of his son and that he is a talented actor. Now, you might think we're sticking to the father side, but here's a delightful twist. Let's talk about grandfathers. Enter Tuki Brando, grandson of the legendary Marlon Brando. Yes, you heard it right.
You were here in, 1984 when it was called the Festival of Festivals, premiering The Bay Boy, and your dad was here supporting you, and now you're here together, co-starring in this movie at TIFF. What does this night mean to you?
It's a dream come true. I mean,
Number 16, Tuki Brando and Marlon Brando. Now, wait, there's no mistaking that jawline. The grandson of Marlon Brando, Tuki Brando, carries on the iconic actor's legacy of devilish good looks, working as a model for brands like Versace. Although Marlon Brando passed away in 2004, his legacy as one of the most legendary actors of all time lives on. The Hollywood icon left behind many children and grandchildren, including some of who inherited Marlon's classic good looks. In fact, 31-year-old Tuki Brando has enjoyed a successful career as a model, working for some of the world's biggest fashion brands over the years. Read on to see Tuki and learn more about the challenges he has faced. Tuki was first discovered when he was photographed with his grandmother, Teresa Terapaya, by iconic photographer Bruce Weber. Weber later shot Tuki for the cover of L'Uomo Vogue, which launched Tuki's modeling career. Tuki has since modeled for Chanel, Dolce & Gabbana, Versace, and Technomarine timepieces, among other notable brands.
And he was talking about everything he saw in his life, and he taught me how to work my abs in the swimming pool.
Number 15, Robin Thicke and Alan Thicke. What happens when you're the son of America's favorite sitcom dad? Just ask Robin Thicke, son of the beloved Alan Thicke. Alan Thicke was America's favorite sitcom dad on Growing Pains throughout his late 30s and early 40s. But the late actor's son, Robin Thicke, has paved his own way in the entertainment industry as a singer and has had several big hits by the same age, including Blurred Lines. Thicke's earlier recordings were put out under his last name. He has written the songs of many musicians, including, though not limited to, Jennifer Hudson, Usher, and many more. He was signed to Interscope Records at the age of 16. His first album was released in 2003. His second album was released in 2006. It was much more successful and sold 1.5 million copies. In 2013, it was reported that Thicke wrote, directed, and acted in a short film called Mercy. Thicke's single, Blurred Lines, sold more than any other song in 2013.
Oh yeah, well, my dad actually was here yesterday, and we got to enjoy going to a few radio stations in the morning. He has a new show that he's filming, so I was a part of the show yesterday. So.
Number 14, Emilio Estevez and Martin Sheen. When you're the son of a Hollywood icon like Martin Sheen, you've got big shoes to fill. But Emilio Estevez isn't just walking in his father's footsteps. He's blazing his own trail in Tinseltown. Martin Sheen clearly passed some serious acting chops onto his son, Emilio, who is a member of the Brat Pack in the 1980s and has made a name for himself in his own right in Hollywood. Though his father had opted to use the stage name Sheen over his more ethnic birth name Estevez, Emilio chose to retain the family name, hoping to avoid riding his father's coattails. He also thought the double E set of initials was pretty. He appeared in a few TV movies, the first of which was 17 Going on Nowhere in 1980, before making his big screen debut opposite Matt Dillon in 1982's Tex. A part in The Outsiders, 1983 followed, and Estevez made his first big splash as the punk rocker Otto in the cult classic Repo Man in 1984. In 2006, Emilio made the motion picture Bobby. Bobby, a day-in-the-life film. Robert F. Kennedy Estevez wrote, directed, and acted in the picture, which follows 22 characters in the Ambassador Hotel on June 4, 1968, on the day Senator Robert F. Kennedy was assassinated following his win in the California primary. Distributed by the Weinstein Company, Bobby went on to be nominated for 2 Golden Globes, Best Original Song and Best Picture, Drama, as well as a Screen Actors Guild Best Ensemble nomination in 2006. He won a Hollywood Film Best Ensemble Award and received a 7-minute standing ovation at the Venice Film Festival following his nomination for the prestigious Golden Lion for directing the film.
Now, Emilio, so is it hard to get in touch with your dad?
Yes, because he has a cell phone, he just never turns it on.
Number 13, Max Irons and Jeremy Irons. Ever wondered what it's like to inherit a silver screen legend's charisma and charm? Meet Max Irons, son of the esteemed Jeremy Irons. It seems like good looks aren't the only thing that runs in the Irons family. British actor Jeremy Irons' son, Max, is also an actor and has had roles in films like Terminal and The Wife. The son of popular actor Jeremy Irons has also decided to extend the actor's dynasty. Max got his success after the release of the movie The Host, which is based on Stephenie Meyer's novel, where he played one of the main roles. After that, he was invited to be in the series The White Queen, and the young man's career has been increasingly growing since then. And thanks to his remarkable appearance, Max used to be a highly sought-after model. With a towering 6'2" in stature and yawning, hollow cheekbones, he's unmistakably his father's son. It's uncanny. But there's a warmth and a brightness in young Irons, inherited from his mother, renowned actress Sinead Cusack. I'm much more like her, he says. From far off, you can see my dad, but when you see my face, it's far more Cusack. Armed with a deadly combination of Celtic charm and Austin propriety, it's surely a balance he calls upon in his quest to conquer the heights of Hollywood.
Could a father not marry his son? It's not incest between men. I could marry my son. Incest is there to protect us from having inbreeding. But men don't breed, therefore I could marry my son.
Number 12, Ray Nicholson and Jack Nicholson. What do you get when you mix Hollywood's bad boy charm with a dash of mystery? Meet Ray Nicholson, son of the one and only Jack Nicholson. If you found yourself wondering why Panic's Ray Hall looks so familiar, you're not alone. That might be because Ray Nicholson, the actor behind the bad boy cop of Carp, Texas, is the spitting image of his father, Jack Nicholson. That's right, Jack has a hot 29-year-old son. It didn't take long for us to be charmed by his character, and the more we've learned about real-life Ray, the more we've fallen for him. Despite having a famous father and mother, actress Rebecca Broussard, there's still an air of mystery to the actor. Amazon Prime Video's Panic is essentially his breakout role. If, like us, you have already binged the show and just want to know more about Ray, ahead are 5 facts to tide you over until he can grace our screens once more. Ray has carved out a career in the acting world. He starred alongside Diane Kruger in the 2022 Neil LaBute film Out of the Blue, and has had numerous roles in other movies, such as Something from Tiffany's, Benchwarmers, and Panic. Ray is following in his father's footsteps when it comes to acting, and we can't wait to see what the future has in store for this talented young actor.
Who let this IRA motherfucker in my bar? Just kidding, how's your brother?
Number 11, Scott Caan and James Caan. From the mean streets of Hollywood to the sunny shores of Hawaii, Scott Caan has made a name for himself as one of television's most beloved stars. But did you know he's also the son of legendary tough guy James Caan? You remember James Caan from The Godfather, which is one of the actor's most notable roles during his 40-year career. His son, Scott, inherited his movie star looks, which strays from his father in a small way. He's taken his career to the small screen, starring in shows like Hawaii Five-0 and Entourage. Scott Caan is the son of tough guy actor James Caan. While it is obvious that he admires tough method actors like Marlon Brando and Sean Penn, Scott also has a strong egalitarian streak, evidenced by his reasoning for burying his body in films. He is quoted as saying that originally only the women in the scene were to be nude, but he felt that it was really sexist, so he stripped too. Self-described as a bad kid who was always getting into trouble, Scott initially steered clear of acting, opting to play sports instead. He also pursued his love of hip-hop by forming a group with his friend, The Alchemist, as the Hooligans. The duo made inroads on the music scene and signed an ill-fated contract with Tommy Boy Records. It didn't take long for Scott to appear in front of the camera. In 1995, he took roles in a couple of independent films. His first major film was also a hit. He had a supporting role in Enemy of the State, 1998, for director Tony Scott. Scott's star rose with a fun supporting return in Steven Soderbergh's Ocean's 11 2001 remake. He has a starring role in the remake of the TV series Hawaii Five-0, starting in 2010.
Did you and your dad get a good, moment before he went? Did you leave with good closure if you needed it or anything like that? there was nothing that needed to be said that wasn't said.
Number 10, Jeff Bridges and Lloyd Bridges. What happens when you're born into a family of Hollywood legends? Just ask Jeff Bridges, son of the iconic Lloyd Bridges. It seems like Lloyd's acting career, during which he starred in more than 150 films, inspired his son Jeff Bridges. Jeff has been working as an actor since 1960 and is best known for his roles in The Big Lebowski and True Grit. Jeffrey Leon Bridges is known for his leading man roles in film and television. In a career spanning over 7 decades, he has received various accolades, including an Academy Award, a Golden Globe, and a Screen Actors Guild Award, in addition to nominations for 3 BAFTA Awards and 2 Emmy Awards. In 2019, he was awarded the Cecil B. DeMille Award.
Did you go watch your father do scenes?
Oh, I remember my dad. Yeah, I remember watching my dad going to visit him on a Western.
Number 9, Josh Brolin and James Brolin. Ever wondered what it's like to grow up in the shadow of a Hollywood giant? Enter Josh Brolin, son of the legendary James Brolin. What profession do you go into when you're the son of legendary actor James Brolin? Well, acting, of course. Josh has been in the industry for over 3 decades and has starred in everything from The Goonies to Avengers Endgame. Ever since his Hollywood debut in The Goonies in 1985, Josh Brolin has had a pretty remarkable acting career. Would you expect anything less from the son of beloved actor James Brolin? He earned an Academy Award nomination for Milk, starred in some pretty amazing modern westerns like True Grit and No Country for Old Men, and is arguably the best villain in the Marvel Universe. Even in his 50s, Brolin's career is on fire, and he doesn't show signs of slowing down anytime soon. Despite having an incredibly demanding career, Brolin has managed to also balance life as a parent. He welcomed 2 children with his first wife, actress Alice Adair, and 20 years later welcomed 2 more daughters with his third wife, Catherine Boyd. Brolin seems incredibly proud of his blended family and frequently shares sweet tributes to all of his children on social media. It's always refreshing to see such a popular movie star open up about his home life and how proud he is of his kids.
Okay, now we're live.
Live? I feel dead. Oh, sorry.
So, we're live on Instagram. Oh, Chandler, what's up?
Chandler?
Yeah. So, right now we're going to be on for probably 60 seconds. My dad's never been live on Instagram. I've never been out of bed on Instagram.
I've never been live, period.
My dad's been dead for 3 weeks.
That's right.
Number 8, Stephen Peck and Gregory Peck. What happens when you're the son of one of Hollywood's most beloved leading men? Just ask Stephen Peck, son of the iconic Gregory Peck. While he may have inherited his father's impeccable jawline, the son of old Hollywood actor Gregory Peck didn't go into show business. Instead, he went on to become the president and CEO of the nonprofit U.S. Vets. Born to Oscar-winning father Gregory Peck, Stephen Peck for a time lived in the Hollywood dream and worked in the film industry. However, Peck knew his heart was in another place. Everyone is surprised to find out about what I'm doing because my father was Gregory Peck, and they feel there are many other things I could be doing, says Peck from his downtown office. But Peck took a different road. He was drafted into the U.S. Marine Corps in 1968 after college. I didn't volunteer. Uncle Sam called me, he says. He served as a lieutenant in the 1st Marine Division near Da Nang from 1969 to 1970. Peck's time at war had a huge impact on his life. I didn't want to let it affect me, but the combat experience is something that stays with you, and those images and the things we experienced, the camaraderie between soldiers you serve with, is also something that stays with you, says Peck. When he came back, he pursued what he thought would be his long-time career. He enrolled in a graduate school cinema program in 1972 and went on to become a documentary filmmaker.
Parts that you consider yourself to have been most successful?
To Kill a Mockingbird seemed to be a part which I could make my own for a number of reasons.
Number 7, Ron Howard and Rance Howard. From child star to Oscar-winning director, Ron Howard's Hollywood journey is the stuff of legend. But did you know he's following in his father's footsteps? Meet Rance Howard, the man who inspired Ron's love of storytelling. Although Ron Howard first made a name for himself by acting in Happy Days, directing has since become his calling. But did you know his father was in the business too? Both of the actors had successful careers. Ron Howard was born on March 1st, 1954 in Duncan, Oklahoma, the elder son of Jean Spiegel, an actress, and Rance Howard, a director, writer, and actor. He is of German, English, Scottish, Irish, and Dutch ancestry. His father was born with the surname Beckenholt and took the stage name Howard in 1948 for his acting career. Rance Howard was serving 3 years in the United States Air Force at the time of Ron's birth. Academy Award-winning filmmaker Ron Howard is one of this generation's most popular directors. From the critically acclaimed dramas of Beautiful Mind in 2001 and Apollo 13 1995, to the hit comedies Parenthood 1989 and Splash in 1983, he has created some of Hollywood's most memorable films. Howard was honored by the Museum of Moving Images in December 2005 and by the American Cinema Editors in February 2006. Howard and his creative partner Brian Grazer were honored by the Producers Guild of America with the Milestone Award in January 2009, NYU's Tisch School of Cinematic Arts with the Big Apple Award in November 2009, and by the Simon Wiesenthal Center with their Humanitarian Award in May 2010. In June 2010, Howard was honored by the Chicago Film Festival with their Gold Hugo Career Achievement Award. In March 2013, Howard was inducted into the Television Hall of Fame. In December 2015, Howard was honored with a star in the motion pictures category, making him one of the very few to have been recognized with 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Rance Howard has died. He was the father of filmmaker Ron Howard, appearing in some of Ron's films, including Apollo 13, A Beautiful Mind, and How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Number 6, Alain-Fabien Delon and Alain Delon. When your father is one of France's most iconic movie stars, the pressure to live up to his legacy can be overwhelming. But Alain-Fabien Delon isn't just living up to expectations, he's exceeding them. Alain Delon rose to fame as a French movie star in the 60s. His son, Alain-Fabien Delon, bears half of his father's famous name and has also followed him into acting. Along with a successful modeling career, he was the face of Dior Homme. Delon was in Golden Youth in 2019. Is there anyone who can compete with Alain Delon and his attractiveness? Perhaps the only person who can do it is his son. Alain-Fabien is 25 years old and acts in movies and works as a model. Since 2015, the young man has been the official face of the Dior fashion house. Moreover, he's tried himself at writing and published his first novel, Of the Race of Gentlemen. Number 5, Adam Arkin and Alan Arkin. From Emmy nominations to Tony nods, Adam Arkin's career is a testament to talent and dedication. But did you know he's following in his father's footsteps? Meet Alan Arkin, the man who inspired Adam's love of acting. Although they look alike and their names are eerily similar, Alan Arkin's son, Adam, successfully built a name for himself in Hollywood. Most notably, he's appeared on programs like The West Wing, Sons of Anarchy, and Masters of Sex. The handsome son of legend Alan Arkin, Adam Arkin began his career as a child actor in small TV and film roles, culminating in his starring role in the werewolf comedy Full Moon High in 1981. He earned an Emmy nomination for his recurring role as the barefoot, possibly feral Chef Adam on Northern Exposure, CBS from 1990 to 1995, and a 1991 Tony nod in Paul Rudnick's I Hate Hamlet. He starred on many short-lived series and earned a slew of recurring credits on projects like China Beach, ABC 1988 to 1991, and Picket Fences, CBS 92 to 96, but landed a star-making role as the kind neurosurgeon Dr. Aaron Schutt on David E. Kelley's Chicago Hope, CBS 94 to 2000. On the big screen, he played Jamie Lee Curtis's boyfriend in Halloween H2O 20 years later in 98, Meg Ryan's husband in Hanging Up in 2000, and a bystander to crocodile attacks at Lake Placid in 1999. A daytime Emmy-winning actor, Arkin earned acclaim for a guest spot on Frasier, NBC 93 to 2004, and recurring on The West Wing, NBC 99 to 2006, 8 Simple Rules, ABC 2002 to 2005, Boston Legal, ABC 2004 to 2008, and Sons of Anarchy, FX 2008 to 14. The very employable actor made his pop proud, playing Eva Mendez's editor in Hitch 2005, and a divorce lawyer in the Ethan and Joel Coen drama A Serious Man in 2009. A talented, constant presence across TV and film, Adam Arkin built a lengthy, impressive career outside of his father's considerable professional shadow.
Along with everybody else, to please contribute to this very beautiful fund. I have a friend with me who calls himself my son.
It's just to get into restaurants. That's the only reason we do it.
Would you like to identify yourself?
Yes, my name's Adam Arkin, and this is my first visit to the beautiful island.
Number 4, Rob Reiner and Carl Reiner. When your father is a comedy legend, the pressure to make people laugh can be intense. But Rob Reiner isn't just living up to expectations, he's redefining them. Since making a name for himself on All in the Family, Rob Reiner has become one of Hollywood's most beloved film directors. But not everyone knows the actor, writer, and director was following in his father's footsteps. Carl Reiner was a well-known comedy writer and director. Robert Reiner was born in New York City to Estelle Rainier, née Le Bost, and Emmy-winning actor, comedian, writer, and producer Carl Reiner. As a child, his father was his role model, as Carl Reiner created and starred in The Dick Van Dyke Show. Estelle was also an inspiration for him to become a director. Her experience as a singer helped him understand how music was used in a scene. Rob often felt pressured about measuring up to his father's successful streak, with 12 Emmys and other prestigious awards. When Rob graduated high school, his parents advised him to participate in summer theater. Reiner got a job as an apprentice in the Bucks County Playhouse in Pennsylvania. He went on to UCLA Film School to further his education. Reiner felt he still wasn't successful, even having a recurring role on one of the biggest shows in the country, All in the Family. He began his directing career with the Oscar-nominated films This Is Spinal Tap, Stand By Me, and The Princess Bride. In 1987, with these successful box office movies under his belt, Reiner founded his own production company, Castle Rock Entertainment, along with Martin Schaefer, Andrew Scheinman, Glenn Padnick, and Alan Horn. Under Castle Rock Entertainment, he went on to direct Oscar-nominated films When Harry Met Sally, Misery, and A Few Good Men. Reiner has credited former co-star Carol O'Connor in helping him get into the directing business, showing Reiner the ropes. Reiner made cameo appearances on television shows 30 Rock, The Simpsons, and Hannah Montana, and in films The First Wives Club, Bullets Over Broadway, Primary Colors, and Throw Mama from the Train, among many others.
My father was my idol. I looked up to him. He stood for everything I wanted to be in life.
Number 3, Humphrey Bogart and Stephen Bogart. They say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And in the case of Stephen Bogart, that couldn't be more true. The son of Hollywood icon Humphrey Bogart, Stephen is keeping his father's memory alive through his writing and storytelling. Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall had one of Hollywood's greatest love stories. During their 14-year marriage, the couple welcomed 2 children, including son Stephen Bogart, who is the spitting image of Humphrey. Stephen Humphrey Bogart wasn't even born when his father, Humphrey Bogart, made Casablanca 75 years ago. It is considered one of the greatest films of all time. Stephen Bogart was only 8 when his father died, but he will always have Casablanca and the stories of his mother, Lauren Bacall, has shared about the Hollywood legend who died too soon. He has authored 3 semi-autographical books about his family.
I'd watched it, and my perspective on my story was a lot different than hers. She looked at him as her mentor, her father figure, because they were 25 years apart in marriage, and her lover, and all those things that a wife looks at a husband for, and more. Me, I looked at my father as my father, but a father I really never knew, so I never had that image of him that ingrained in my mind.
Number 2, Peter Fonda and Henry Fonda. Peter Fonda was born into Hollywood royalty. His father, Henry Fonda, was one of the biggest actors of his time. But Peter made his own mark on Hollywood, becoming a symbol for the counterculture movement and reaching acclaim with his movie Easy Rider in 1969. After a few years of acting on stage, Peter Fonda got started in movies in 1962. Several small parts in Hollywood movies later, he teamed with Dennis Hopper and produced and starred in Easy Rider, 1969, with Jack Nicholson. The film about young men on an ill-fated motorcycle adventure across America made him a star. During the 1970s, Peter Fonda appeared in movies such as Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry, and Wanda Nevada, which he also directed. 2 decades later, he was nominated for an Oscar for his performance as a beekeeper in Yuli's Gold, 1997, co-starring Jessica Biel. Peter Fonda's other films include The Limey, 1999, directed by Steven Soderbergh, Thomas and the Magic Railroad, 2000, starring Alec Baldwin, and the 2007 remake of the Western 3:10 to Yuma, starring Russell Crowe and Christian Bale.
Ask you why when we asked him if he would come on tonight, he said, "With those two freaks"?
I don't believe it. I don't
I'm
believe
not kidding
it.
you.
Then he's got a good sense of humor.
Number 1, Chris Pine and Robert Pine. From the bridge of the USS Enterprise to the heart of Hollywood, Chris Pine's journey is one for the ages. But did you know he's following in his father's footsteps? Chris Pine has been making us swoon since he first burst onto the scene in 2006 romantic comedy Just My Luck. But his very first TV appearance actually happened when he was just 3 years old. In case you weren't aware, Chris's dad is none other than Robert Pine, the actor who famously played Sergeant Joseph Getrer on NBC's Chips in the late 70s and early 80s. And in 1983, Chris joined his dad on the show as a boy named Christopher. The two teamed up for an adorable duet of Hurry, Hurry, Climb the Ladder and melted hearts everywhere. Both Chris and Robert have long admired each other's work. Robert told People back in 2009, "I couldn't be prouder. He's an incredibly hard worker." Chris is equally proud of his father's impressive career. "My dad's had a hell of a career," the Don't Worry Darling actor told IndieWire in April 2022. He got his SAG card in '64, was under contract with Universal, got paid to be an actor, got paid to take horseback riding lessons. He was on The Virginian, Gunsmoke, and The Love Boat. He continued, "He was in The Graduate. My father was in The Graduate." When Dustin Hoffman goes to the fraternity to find out where Catherine Ross is getting married, there's a shot of Dustin talking to some guys in a bathroom, and good old Bob Pine is there. Then they cut back to Dustin, and I think my father is the one that's answering him. Chris grew up watching his father on TV and in films, and previously shared with People what he learned along the way. "I learned that life is not always wine and roses," he said. "As a working actor, there are fouler times. Then there are those times that are really great. It's just a matter of keeping a head on your shoulders, keeping a sense of humor, and looking ahead."
Rhett, you didn't work this hard on your career to give it all away for a girl. Ask your father about that.
Oh, will you go back inside? You're not helping.
And there you have it, guys. The sons of 20 Hollywood fathers, each with their own unique journey in the entertainment world. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more celebrity news and updates. Until next time, stay tuned.